So here's my project for a while. This is my 86 Ford Escort little station wagon. So what I need to start with today is trying to degrease the engine because it's been leaking oil even overnight. So gotta at least clean up under the hood with some engine degreaser. Ideally I'd like to pull this out into the driveway by my drain down there, and this engine has an idle issue after it warms up, so I need to sort that out at some point. But this is a diesel, but still need to get back in the trunk and hook up the battery again too. So here's the rear of this little station wagon. I need to get back here to reconnect the battery. I have these little planks of wood in my garage, I think maybe from some fence, possibly left over. But anyway, I need to wedge this under here to hold up this rear hatch, because these trunk struts or whatever you call them aren't holding this up anymore. So I gotta jam that under there and hope it doesn't give out, and try to reconnect my negative battery cable. So there's that. Put this back down. That doesn't really latch shut, so I need to address that too. Alright, so before I actually start this thing again, I just reconnected the battery, put her in neutral. It's a 5-speed manual. Gotta see if this fuel pump is still working. Oh, I just locked the steering wheel. Darn it. See if this still works. There's that wait to start light. I thought the switch was wired up to the fuel pump. I gotta go set the camera down and see if I can just pull this thing out into the driveway. See what happens. May as well check my battery voltage for a second now. I don't know if it's gonna drain the battery, and I don't even have a charger at the moment. I want to see if the switch is actually working. To turn on and off the fuel pump. Oh, it is. That's good. How about that? Gotta shut it down before it gets too hot. See, when I first started up, the idle is around 1500, which is probably still a bit high. But even as it warms up, it gets up to about 2500 or even almost 3000, which is way too high. I had those guys helping me yesterday with this thing, and we were kind of running it for a bit and even revving it, so it wasn't too great as far as this thing overheating. So just want to see if I can pop the hood now and let this thing cool off, maybe head back into the house, fix up something to eat. I suppose it might not even hurt to disconnect the battery now so it doesn't drain anymore, but still running that fuel pump since that switch is on. I already got down to 11.9 volts before I got this started. And the battery was manufactured in June. Alright, so here's under the hood. We were definitely running this thing for too long yesterday, and it kind of overheated by the time I called it a night. But anyhow, some stuff in here is modified, shall we say. This is an original hand pump to prime the engine like you would in the olden days. They added in an electronic fuel pump, and there's an inline fuel filter here, and all this I think runs back up into the injection pump down here. Need to fix this idling issue. The fuel flow or amount of fuel and vacuum going into the engine is controlling the idle more so than the throttle itself. So anyway, I need to just give this a few moments to cool down, but it's really not overheated. I need to go back into the garage and hook up the garden hose, get my can of this gunk engine degreaser and clean that up, and we can better determine where the oil is leaking. Well, I don't want to speak too soon or anything, but so far it's been a pretty good day. I just went to go check the mail, and I got some Arby's coupons. Yes! I wonder when they expire. Oh, they're good, valid through October 31st, so Halloween. I'm gonna get me some Arby's before Halloween. That's awesome. There's a lot of good stuff on the menu and some new items on the menu. For the fall, they got a new Cinnammuffin. That looks pretty fattening and diabetic, but I love this classic roast beef sandwich. It's such a classic. Well, I'm continuing to lose daylight by the minute, so try to just spray this down a bit and get the garden hose out. So I just want to be careful not to get any of this in the intake. Not sure about the timing belts either, because the timing cover isn't on this. I don't know how easily I can get up underneath this to even attempt to spray the oil pan, or if that's a good idea. But it's still leaking from multiple areas down under here, so not too sure what I can get at. So I sprayed this liberally. It's got to sit for at least 10 or 15 minutes, so I'm gonna go wash my hands. I don't know if this stuff's harmful to skin, but it kind of smells like the Raid Wasp and Hornet spray. This thing's still rusty. It's an 86. The worst rust on this whole thing is just the inner fender wells kind of surrounding the rear struts. I don't know if I can even show in here too easily. Then this seat upholstery needs to be addressed. I don't know if it can just be restitched or should be reupholstered on the bottom. But there's the rot all the way through. That's the ground outside and the tire. So this passenger side's worse than the driver's side, but that's still bad. But it's at least easy to get to. We can take all these plastic panels out, cut out the bad metal, and just weld plates over it, I'm thinking. Here's the rest of the interior for now. It's got other issues, like this door isn't closing flush. Not sure what to do about that. Just fixing all the major stuff first, kind of, and at least trying to get it roadworthy. Okay, garden hose is out. Some bird just took a dump on my Honda. Thankfully it was small. So I want to just get this over with, because there's already a lot of bugs out here and I'm getting bit. Hope this isn't going to make too much of a mess. And I don't want to use a ton of water and call up my buddy and be like, about how much water do I need for this? Like, am I gonna need to change into my bathing suit? None of that. Don't have time for my bad jokes. Not sure which one of these settings on here is gonna be the best for this. I don't want to get this all over my clothes. Let's see if I can even get underneath. I can't really see too good. See, then there's like wiring or something hanging down here. I don't want to get the camcorder wet either. It's probably not a good idea. Here's the oil pan, I think. Wow, I didn't actually see the very end of these instructions, like number 6 here. It says 1 complete, remove added coverings and replace any removed parts. But this part here, start engine and idle for 15 minutes to assure complete drying. That's a pretty long time. I don't know, the idle will probably go nuts and it might overheat. Well, now I gotta hope to God this thing will start up again. I hope I rinse this thoroughly enough. I still smell some of the fumes a little bit, but it's gonna be frustrating if this doesn't want to start. Oh boy. Neutral. Fuel pump's on. Wait to start. Fired right up. It's idling kind of rough. Actually, the idle went down. It's not even at 1,000. Keeping my foot on the gas a tiny bit. I don't know if it's ever idled that low when I started it. It was usually like 15. Still got my foot on the gas. I don't know, that's weird. Just want to make sure it's not gonna die. Oh, where's our oil pressure? What, like 65 to 70 pounds oil pressure? That's not hooked up. Not sure if the temperature gauge is hooked up either. Not sure if any of these work. I thought this was working yesterday, the clock, but now it's not on, so I don't know what happened. Alright, my foot's off the gas now, and it's at about 800-ish, which is where it's supposed to idle. I don't think it's ever idled that low. That's like where it's supposed to be. Let's take a look under the hood just for the heck of it. I don't know, it sounds a lot better to me. I guess this is a good opportunity to allow it to run for 15 minutes just to see if the idle's behaving normally. So I really don't know. Honestly, I don't think it's ever idled this low when I first fired it up. It was usually at least at 1,000 to 1,500 RPM, and then it would shoot up to 2,500 to almost 3,000 RPM. If it's back to normal, that's definitely a good sign. We'll have to see what happens here in another 10 or 15 minutes. What time is it, by the way? 7:25. So we can try to give it till at least 7:35, 7:40 p.m. I don't know if something was just kind of caught up with the old dirt and grease and it wasn't freeing itself to allow the idle to come back down, or what the issue was. But the idle sounds totally normal. I mean, she's still sitting at 800 or just below 800, which is where it's right where it's supposed to be. So that's amazing. It's probably at like 750 to 800. Wow, I'm pretty surprised. 7:34 p.m. It's probably been at least 10 minutes, maybe almost 15. This thing's not idling high at all anymore. It's still really hard to believe. Can't even say for certain what was wrong. Those guys that were helping me with this the other night were saying I had to do more research to figure this out. I don't know. That's vibrating back there, like the rear hatch. So that's all just bare metal with no interior trim. But wow. See if I can turn the lights on. There's my headlights and my dash lights. I gotta put the hood down before I back this into the garage. Probably be a good idea. Not sure if the odometer is still working, but it says 72,940, so probably 172. Not too bad for a diesel. And there's a lot of slop in this shifter, so I have to rebuild that at some point. But wow, I'm pretty impressed with this nice smooth idle. And it didn't even die when I took my foot off the gas. That's pretty remarkable. Well, it's worth a thumbs up for the video anyway. This is awesome. I think the power mirrors are still working. I think you turn this to the left to adjust the left mirror and the right to adjust the passenger side. Yeah, look at that. I got power mirrors. That's awesome. Wonder if this one works. That is so cool. Wow. This is a great car for 86. I'm impressed. That's awesome. I got power mirrors. How can you beat that for 1986 standards? And factory air. Actually, I'm not sure how the idle's going to be if I tried turning the air on. I don't think this even turns on. Oh well. That's alright. Have to get to that another time. No big deal. It still might be a little while before this thing's roadworthy. I mean, it's idling fine, so more than halfway there to getting down the road in this thing. Well, it's vibrating a lot now that it's in the garage. I don't want to stink up my garage any more than I have to, but it's still pretty wild that it's idling normally. This has been running for at least 15-20 minutes now. I don't know, like giving it gas, letting my foot off, it goes right back down. It's like back to normal. Well, it's a tiny bit higher now. Now it's like 1,000, almost 1,000, but that's still by no means too high. So I'm not sure if it was something mechanical under the hood or what. See, all the lights are good. Yeah, I could probably go back a little bit further. Yeah, probably a little bit. I don't think the power steering is working. So that's definitely a workout. And it gives your thighs a good workout working this old clutch that's pretty stiff. I don't know if you guys can even see me driving this thing, but whatever. Let's see if I can back it up a tiny bit more. There's a lot of slop in the shifter, so it's really hard to even find reverse. That should be good. Gotta pull the crap out of the parking brake, so I don't know how strong it is. But yeah, even to turn the key off from the start position, I think you have to press this button. Uh-oh. There we go. Gotta turn it forward a little bit before it'll go back. That's it. Good stuff. Turn the lights off. And hopefully, if I ran it for like 20 minutes, hopefully that's like, I'll just put it in gear for the heck of it, but if I ran it for 20 minutes, hopefully the alternator had a chance to charge the battery. Hit this fuel pump switch and then I just take the cable out off the negative side again. Yeah, I'm glad this thing isn't stupidly long of a car. So I got good enough space for it here in the garage. So I'm gonna call it a night, and I'm pretty impressed with the idle. Doesn't seem to have any issues anymore, but gotta keep our fingers crossed, pray that the issue won't reoccur. It's still kind of hard to believe. Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. Dude, I almost forgot to put this garden hose away. Whoops. Well, good night. Sleep tight.